Welcome to this video. I'm going to discuss Proxy server. This is a computer that you set up as an intermediary between the local area network and the wide area network or the internet. The proxy server has three main functions. Number one, to do what we call caching. This is temporarily storing the regularly visited web pages so that the users in the local area network can be able to get them from the proxy server instead of getting them from the source. The only thing that the proxy server has to do is to ensure that the web pages that it stores in the cache are updated. Number two is to do what we call filtering. This is checking the requests made by the client computers against the authorized or unauthorized list of the websites. When it is checking against those that are authorized, it is doing what we call white listing. While when it is checking against the unauthorized list of websites, it's doing what we call blacklisting. This role of a proxy server is to ensure that those sites that are not allowed by the organization are avoided or are banned by the proxy server using the blacklist. When you're doing this, you must ensure that you have a policy within the organization so that you don't deny users some sites which they are supposed to access. Filtering is done to save on the bandwidth and also to ensure secure access of the resources in the internet by the client users. Number three is to do what we call authentication. This is allowing or denying users access to the internet resources based on their username and passwords. So you can configure the proxy server to request the users to provide their usernames and passwords so that they can be allowed to access the resources in the internet. The proxy server will do this by linking to other computers or other servers that you set up in your local area network, such as the LDAP server or the Active Directory. Now let's see how you can be able to implement a proxy server in a local area network. You can set up one of the computers to be a proxy server by installing and configuring a server which we call Squid or any other proxy servers. We have other proxy servers that you can be able to use in a local area network, but the most common one is the Squid. Once you have installed the operating system in this computer, you connect it to a public switch. This is a public switch, which is then connected to a router, which is connected to the internet. This computer must have two interfaces. So one interface will connect to the public switch, while the other interface will connect to your local switch. This is a switch that you connect to the local computers. So this proxy server will be acting as an intermediary between all the computers within your local area network and the internet. Now, the interface that looks towards your internal network will have a local IP, what we call a private IP, like 192.168.0.1. The gateway for this interface will be the IP address of the other interface that looks towards the external network or the wide area network, and this one will have what we call a public IP that you get from the internet service provider, like 40.19.20.1. The gateway for this interface will be the IP address of the router, which you also get from the internet service provider, like 40.19.20.2. Remember, these are the IPs that you get from the internet service provider, but the IPs that you use in your local area network are defined by the network admin. Now, what the proxy server does is to do what we call NATing. This means that the users in the internet will always look at your local area network using one public IP, which is 40.19.20.1. And the client computers, when they are accessing internet, from the internet point of view, all of them are using this IP address, 40.19.20.1. Therefore, all the IPs that are used by the client computers are anonymous, because they are NATed, or they are translated to this public IP, which is used to access the resources in the internet. If you look at this arrangement, it means that any requests made by the client computer will be using this proxy server as a gateway. So the default gateway for all the computers in the local area network is the IP address of the proxy server, which is 192.168.0.1. That will be the gateway. Of course, it will be having its own IP address, which maybe could be 192.168.0.10. All the computers within the local area network using the same proxy server must be in the same subnet. For example, the subnet mask could be 255.255.255.0. That means that this computer will also be having the same subnet mask, meaning that they are all in the same subnet or in the same network. That is the role of a proxy server in a local area network. Next time, I'll explain how you configure the squid to work for you in a local area network. Thank you for listening.